Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to stand on existing salutary protocols. My sincere thanks to the organizers of this great event for giving me the opportunity to speak here today, most especially to the Honorable Abike Dabiri Arewa, the chairperson of this August commission. I am indeed grateful for the privilege. I want to start out by recognizing the significant contributions of Nigerians in the diaspora to the economic growth and development of this country. It is not a contribution that should be taken for granted. Be rest assured that I know what you go through to make the contributions you make. I left Nigeria at the age of 21 after my youth service, and as many of you went through the trials and travails of being in a foreign country, as well as the victories and successes that the opportunity affords. For me, I went through the typical steps. I worked at Burger King, I worked, in a restaurant, and finally did my master's. But while doing all of that, at the top of my mind was continuing to contribute to the welfare and the well-being of my family members and friends in Nigeria. That commitment has to be saluted and appreciated. Over the last 5 years, Nigerians in diaspora have contributed as much as $100 billion to the Nigerian economy. In 2019 alone, the total diaspora remittances was about 25 billion, representing 80% of the federal government budget and approximately 6% of the country's GDP. Even with the global economic crisis that we're currently confronting, 2020 is expected to be about 23 billion, and 2021 is being projected at 21 billion. While it is easy to rattle off these numbers, it is equally important that the country recognizes and appreciate what our citizens endure to generate the income and money is remitted back to the country. There are many sacrifices that have to be made, and sacrifices that have to be applauded and saluted. To borrow the words of the lyrically gifted rapper Tupac Shakur, you are appreciated. The other reason I want to express my appreciation to you all in the diaspora is because of the hard work, the discipline of mind, the strength of character, and the determination of making yourself and this country proud. Continue to excel, continue to push. When President Donald Trump called Nigeria or African countries shithole countries and took steps to include Nigeria in the travel ban, it took Farid Zakaria of CNN to highlight the contributions, the nature and the character of Nigerians living in the United States to the world. He went on to say, Nigerians immigrants are some of the most educated immigrants in America. 59% of age 25 and above hold at least a bachelor's degree, twice the percentage of the naturally born American. He also highlighted the fact that 54% of Nigerians in America are engaged in high-skilled roles. These are all facts that we should be proud and that we should celebrate. Now to the core of my address. The global crisis is presenting a myriad of challenges to governments all over the world. With a dislocation of the global supply chain, restrictive economic activities in an effort to curb the spread of the virus, and attendant economic contraction, the magnitude of the pressures on the financial resources of many countries are without doubt very daunting for their governments. In the case of Nigeria, our situation appears more acute. Before the impact of the virus, we were already contending with a slow-growing economy, pressures on our foreign reserves, and consequently on the naira. The impact of the virus has magnified the problem. The crude oil wars between Saudi Arabia and Russia did not help. More troubling is the fact that there is renewed and accelerated efforts to shift to cleaner sources of energy. The US election results with Joe Biden elected is bound to see a significant action in this area. This has explicit longer-term implications for oil prices and consequently oil revenues that the Nigerian government can rely on to fund developmental initiatives. For many of us who grew up in Nigeria in the 70s and 80s, you will agree with me that healthcare and educational systems were better than they are today. The public school system was the best way to get educated. I went to a public primary school, secondary primary school, and to University of Benin. I graduated in 1988. And at that time, you didn't want to think of going outside the country to get educated. But today, in order to get great education, you have to look at private institutions. You add on top of that the issue of a 2.5% population growth year in, year out. The challenges awaiting us in the future are going to be significant. The current government has rightfully initiated some practical steps to support economic activities and drive growth, many of which the Vice President mentioned yesterday. If executed right and monitored correctly, they will have lasting sustainable impact on unemployment and economic growth. Another action being initiated by the central bank is a government-sponsored vehicle to invest in infrastructure. The company is expected to raise about $30 billion to address key infrastructural deficiencies. The reality is structured right again, and the pragmatic approach is taken to tapping into remittances. This amount can be raised. Like I said, $100 billion has been sent back home by Nigerians in diaspora over the last 5 years. So a portion of that allocated to infrastructure development has the potential to help drive this initiative. But that's not sufficient. Or as I think about our future and what can be done in Nigeria, there is the ability to accelerate growth and drastically change the trajectory of this company if we make significant investment in technology. The investment in technology, the advancement in technology today and the opportunity it presents play well into the strength of this country, and it is something that we should explore. The progress in financial technology, health technology, and agricultural technology have the potential to quickly and permanently alter the prospects of our country. This is the area I would like us to design specific diaspora-led investment programs towards. Let's take fintech as an example, financial technology. A lot of the activities in the fintech space is focused on trying to facilitate transactions and gradually bring down some of the barriers in the financial services that limit broader participation and access. Well-funded fintech ventures have the potential to significantly expand trade for the country and can facilitate bringing many businesses into mainstream commerce. It also has the potential to significantly reduce the lock that traditional banks have on credit, which, as we all know, will be critical to driving economic growth. Fintech also has the potential to create credible ways to deploy capital, whether it's through lending or other types of investment aggregation. And this will be pivotal to unleashing entrepreneurial mindset of Nigeria. All of us know and understand that the real growth engine potential for Nigeria is through SMEs. It's how we get the right minds to play there and how to deploy the right capital to these opportunities will be critical. Health technology is another area of significant growth. As we have seen with COVID, there's a significant gap in healthcare delivery. We all are thankful that we have been spared the worst of the virus. And there's, however, an opportunity to invest in healthcare technology that will significantly reduce the cost to deliver healthcare services. Where technology is today, and some of us might think this is far out there, but I think there are enough technological developments that I see a proliferation of healthcare interface platform driven by artificial intelligence. These platforms can be programmed in local languages and would allow healthcare facilities with minimal staff to attend to many more people. Imagine a situation where we have a diagnostic platform that can interact in Bini, my language, Efik, Yoruba, Igbo, and a well-trained technician that asks questions and with a few keystrokes can provide an initial diagnostic for a woman in a remote area of the country. While this might appear futuristic, the core technological components exist, and with the appropriate investment in the right companies, we can actualize this. What Operation Warp Speed in the US has shown is that with adequate investment in technology, you can bring down historical barriers to breakthrough. Today, there's a company called Zipline, an American medical products delivery company headquartered in South San Francisco that designs, manufactures, and operates deliveries drones. The company operates distribution centers in Rwanda, Ghana, and yes, Rwanda, Ghana, and in the United States. Think of that. This company delivers essential medical needs to hospitals and healthcare facilities in remote areas of Ghana and Rwanda. When I first saw the documentary on CNN, I knew that the new era of technology-driven healthcare services in Nigeria and in Africa is here. Let's move away from healthcare and talk about education. Technology's impact on education is limitless and the opportunities are significant. In thinking about the application of technology to education, we must first appreciate that there is nothing that mandates that knowledge can only be impacted through English. The Chinese or the Spanish or the French do not learn or speak English or speak in English. We adopted English as a way of impacting knowledge because we were colonized by Britain. 2 plus 2 in Benin, Yoruba, Hausa, Chinese, Efik is 2 plus 2 is 4. So as we think about education, think about the possibility of translating our history textbooks, our chemistry textbooks, our physics textbooks into languages that can easily be understood by our people. So you don't first have to cross the hurdle of learning to speak English before you can assimilate this knowledge. Technology, investing in educational technology makes that very, very viable. Over the next several years, attracting capital and financing to this area will be critical to the future development of this country. They have the ability to bring many more people into the mainstream economic activity. These infrastructurally inclined areas with significant overall upside, has significant overall upside for the country. If I were to make investment decisions for the country, I would design specific programs around this area to facilitate their exponential growth. Let me take a minute to talk about an area that will resonate with a lot of us. It is the creative industry. It goes without saying that if we are able to focus on fashion, art, music, theater, and movies, that Nigeria can become a major exporter of entertainment products. While some people might trivialize this area, they are increasingly becoming noticeable Nigeria is increasingly becoming noticeable on the global scene, and concerted effort should be made to invest in this area to yield dividends. It is no longer uncommon for you to walk into a store in New York or California and hear Davido or Whiskey being played on sound system. Now think of it. Burna Boy was on Obama's summer playlist last year. These are new areas that we can expand and significantly create opportunities of earning dollars. We think about exporting oil, we think about exporting agricultural products, whenever we think about exports, we think about the real economy. Well, it will interest you to know that today the real economy is in the virtual world. Some of the largest companies today are companies that are driven by technology and do not manufacture widgets. Over the last couple of years, Over $2 billion have been invested in technology companies in Africa, largely from foreign investors, looking to benefit from the significant opportunity in Africa. Let me just give you a statistic for you to appreciate. In sub-Saharan Africa, we have about 2 billion people, which is about the same number of people in China. There's a company we all know called Alibaba. Alibaba has a financial services platform called Alipay. For all of us that have been to China, you probably have seen Alipay or WePay. Alipay was restructured into a financial services company about 5 years ago. It just priced its initial public offering 2 weeks ago and has a market valuation of $300 billion. This is a technology platform that facilitates payments for transactions on technology platforms. Think about if we are able to create such a platform just for us here in Africa. $300 billion. That is close to the same GDP of all of Nigeria. That's the power that technology brings. We are heavily dependent on oil. Think about what happened about 2 months ago. Exxon, the last standing oil company on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, was replaced after 92 years, was replaced by a company called Salesforce that was started less than 20 years ago. That is where the real economy is headed, and that's where we need to spend time. As Nigerians in diaspora, and as we think about where and how to invest, I strongly believe that these are areas of critical importance, not fringe areas. When we think about investment, we continually think about the real economy. Let's invest in agriculture, let's invest in infrastructure. That's all well and good. But the global economy is shifting and moving to a new era. We need to deliberately think about how we invest in this area. Now, why is it important? There's competition for your capital. There's competition for your money. But it's important because technologically driven opportunities, whether it's fintech, headtech, edutech, or in the creatives, provides avenues for Nigerian youths to become productively engaged in this economy. These areas don't have the restrictive nature like civil service or working in a bank. It allows for creativity, and this will unleash significant opportunity for Nigerian youths. The shared benefit of advancement that comes from investing in this area has the ability to have exponential growth for the economy. There's also upside value creation, and that value creation can be significant. Let me give you guys an example. Jumia. Jumia was started by some white folks in Germany, but Jumia's operations are in Africa, and then it got listed on the New York Stock Exchange at that time at a $3 billion valuation. The price came down, but today, as of Friday, it has a market capitalization of $2 billion. Putting that in perspective, that is the same market valuation of Zenith Bank, and is significantly higher than the market capitalization of UBA, First Bank, Union Bank, banks that have been around Nigeria since 1960. That again speaks to the emerging opportunities in investing in this area. A little known company called Paystack, started about 5 years ago by some young entrepreneurial Nigerians, just got bought for $200 million. $200 million is more than the value of a lot of the banks that we see around in Nigeria. So these are not fringe areas for us to invest in. I believe that a concerted effort by this august body, because we are the only ones that have the type of capital that can be deployed to these areas. The traditional banks, given their risk profile, I am the CEO of a bank holding company. We have a merchant bank in our portfolio of assets. It's hard given the risk profile as dictated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, or even just by prudence, it's hard for us to invest in this area or to fund this area. The kind of capital that will drive the growth in this area will have to come from a forum like this. I appreciate the strong, persuasive capabilities of the leadership of NITCOM. I believe that there is a significant opportunity here that NITCOM can shepherd and can construct viable opportunities and avenues for the right capital to be deployed to these areas. And I am confident that done right, we'll see a significant and a leapfrogging opportunity for Nigerian youths and for Nigeria in general. Thank you very much for this great opportunity. It's been my pleasure speaking to you all today. Thank you.